Hello everyone, and welcome to another Starcraft replay session here for the SCPH community. Haven't done this in a while, been too busy with a lot of things Overwatch and even non-related to esports. So this time, finally getting the time, and I feel like this newer format will be a lot easier for me. So I'll try to release one of these videos every day. So you guys can send in your replays still at GameStarPool uh, at gmail.com. So anyway, let's introduce our players who are just having a fun time talking right now. Hellsgate versus Mausami, and we'll see the red Zerg of Hellsgate's on the bottom right. On the other hand, here we have Mausami on the Terran. So Mausami been playing the Terran role since the first few replays I've been getting, and we'll see this time. He says this is a pretty intense game, 20 25. I don't know, pretty long game probably here between these two. We will see. So we are gonna be starting off with an Overlord just floating around again, trying to get as much scouting as possible. A barracks already being done in production. And these two guys just having a really good chat. Oh, talking about WESG, which is gonna be by the end of this month. So really hyped to see the top two players actually engage in ESGS, which we will be attending as Overrush PH. But anyway, Extractor now being built up. We do see the pool already by the 18-minute mark and a second base in production here for Hellsgate. This is one of the older patches before the newest balance changes did come out, so no new cyclones and stuff. We will see how Mausami will play this. I'm really interested what he's gonna do, because of course we do start things off with the Scouting Reaper, and these guys, Hellsgate, not really knowing much about the WESG thing, which is gonna have the final qualifiers, I believe, in ESGS on the stage floor itself. So I'm really excited for that. I think it's Ender versus Nux, if I am not mistaken. So anyway, how about the game? A factory now being built up here by Mausami, second base being built up as well. On the other hand, here comes the transfer, but still not too much units for Hellsgate. He doesn't even have any Zerglings out in the open, and this Reaper might get some value here. Gonna put the cluster bomb. Now 4 Zerglings come on out. The Reaper just taking too long to get back into the fight. Really goes to show the distance in this map. And now Mausami having to retreat. Hellsgate giving him a warm welcome with those 4 Zerglings as well as the Queen. So this time we will see the standard stuff. We will expect Hellsgate to just branch out with that creep as much as possible. Meantime, nothing much happening here in both bases. This is really just the downtime of StarCraft in the first place. Orbital command for the second command center, not really built up yet. Gonna decide to go for the orbital upgrade now before getting any more SCVs. On the other hand, here comes the starport. Both gases are maxed out, so this tells me Mausami is gonna go for something pretty expensive. Gonna go for the Hellions first here to do some harassment. So this might be a... oh, he's gonna go for a Viking. I was expecting maybe some Banshee play here, or maybe even just checking up to Raven, which would be pretty good. Reactor for the factory. So a lot of Hellions now. I'm pretty interested in what he's gonna do with the Viking besides getting rid of the Overlords, because Hellsgate might be in for a reckoning if he puts these Overlords way too close to the enemy base. On the other hand, the third base is being built up ready by Hellsgate. The Queen just injecting so much creep tumors onto the ground, just pooping them out, to be honest. We do see how many queens. There are 3 queens here, so really one of them is on creep tumor duty till this hatchery is built up. So a lot of spread. Very important for the Zerg to take as much map control as they can. But anyway, this might be the time for the Vikings to strike. Already got the kill onto one of the Overlords. Hellsgate knows that Mausami here is building up a bunch of units from the starport. Just can't see what it is in the first place. But now here comes the Hellion squad from Mausami. Hellsgate knows they have brought on out, so this might be a reposition here from Hellsgate. Overlord now will meet them, and this is gonna be a very scary attack from Mausami, because it looks like the Zerg army isn't really built against this. Lots of Zerglings, yes, but the Hellions can toast them quite quickly, and he's even using the Reaper to push away those queens. The Hellions now going to the backline, And the Zerglings doing some damage there. So how much did that do? That killed 6 units for Mausami. Not really too much in the scheme of things. He got one of the Hellions picked off in the process, and those are gonna need some repairs. Now we do see the Zerglings still coming on in, and it's gonna be the Twin Cyclones. These haven't been neutered yet, and just going for the rocks for some reason. Mausami shooting up the terrain, and for now, the second base in a really bad spot. Because this doesn't have a PF, the command center is still being built out, all these SCVs just dying, absolutely terrible damage. That finally the Hellions come on in, but really these workers have been disrupted, just getting some hazard pay right now and getting taken down one by one. 12 worker kills by that Zergling run by, and really Mausami just caught napping in the process. Now we do see a transfer, the factory might be going for the tech lab, and the starport even getting a reactor. So we might get some double pump medivacs, some double pack Vikings would be good too. On the other hand, where is that Liberator? Has already gotten 5 kills. Good decision there to keep the Queens alive, keeping the rock towers not broken up yet. So for Hellsgate, he doesn't think that he needs to go for the emergency rocks. The Queen's now in a corner, just being beaten back by the Hellbats, but they're doing a lot of damage with that focus fire, and they get rid of one, make that 2 Hellbats. The Liberator gonna fly away. The Hellbats have no choice but to fight for their lives, and they're just gonna die really quickly. On the other hand, Hellsgate has had a pretty chill game in expanding. Look at this, just going in a counterclockwise motion. Might want to just go through the rudimentaries of the map in the first place. On the other hand, Mausami trying to chase after all of this that's been happening. Upgrade wise, nothing besides Stim Pack and Meta Boost. Pretty standard stuff to make your Marines and Zerglings much more potent. But look at the income between these two players. Hellsgate heavily in the lead in terms of minerals, but not too much on gas. So really, this is an army that's heavily centered in these Zerglings, trying to upgrade them, trying to make them as powerful as possible with double Evo Chamber. But this feels like a complete waste. Building up these 2 Evo Chambers without the gas behind it, not really as effective as it could be. Could have been upgrading something else, could have built some units instead. Roach Warren now is up, and we have these empty extractors. It's like you have a mine shaft, but no one's in it. The drones might need to change up their lifestyle here. This might be a big reason why Hellsgate is looking behind in terms of technology. He only has hatcheries abound. Oh, he has a lair here, but he only has really Zerglings as his main source of damage, main source of army. The spawning pool, if the spawning pool dies, this might be very dangerous here for Hellsgate. Now, the proxy hatch on the first. So really, this tells me that this guy wants to have a lot of eggs in play. So maybe just Maisie. This will be a Zergling Baneling composition. There you go. We do see some more. So that's what the gas is for. Just upgrading the Baneling speed as well. On the other hand, it's gonna get scary here for Mausami, because he's gonna have a siege tank into play. And this is gonna be a pretty what do you call this? A pretty rainbow connection kind of lineup here. Look at that, Widowmaker in the middle. SCVs now just gonna go for the transfer. We have the wall up as well with all these supply depots. I'm surprised though he didn't build up any bunkers to try and defend this. Finally, the medevac gonna swoop on in. And Mausami getting into position and has been able to even out the supply. So maybe for Hellsgate, if he went for an attack earlier, after just keeping the relentless pressure on with all those minerals floating anyway, he could have done even more damage to Mausami in the first place. So now the Terran having an opportunity to strike. Here comes the Zerglings going to the west side, east side, that kind of thing. Not spotting out this oncoming human army. They will go for the 4th base, and it's more or less undefended. Will they have enough, however? Look at that spending, though. Look at that spending. The technology between Mausami and Hellsgate pretty much ahead for Mausami. Now we do see some Zerglings being built. On the other hand, oh no, the supply depot was down, and the Zerglings getting inside. The SCVs have to transfer on out. Look at this, Hellsgate again taking advantage of a small opening there left behind by Mausami. The Widow Mine does get 7 kills, but it does a lot of splash damage in the process, and the Zerglings just having a field day here. Even though he's gonna lose this base, this is gonna be a very good trade for Hellsgate. Another way to neuter the income there from Mausami. Oh, the hatchery doesn't even die! Mausami, what are you doing? Just kill it! Literally get one Marine to shoot it 2 times. There you go, finally the Brooding's coming out, and he's even gonna lose a Marine. Oh, the Marine! Yeah, he's dead. He died to his own teammate. That's unfortunate. There's another opening there made by Hellsgate. No, it was another opening left behind by Mausami just to supply people down like this. The Zerglings just went, okay, we're gonna run on in. We're not vampires. We don't need a invitation in the first place. Now we do see another hatchery being built, and this is a better fort for him because this is the RMF. The Rich Mineral Field will be in control by the Zerg. We do see the Medivacs activating the thrusters to try and take down the hatchery before it comes on out, and even a fifth. This is extremely greedy here from Hellsgate, but look at his production tab. He's going for the Spire. He's going for that double base, and this is gonna be a very split army for Mausami. Hellsgate right now just running those Zerglings into the frying pan and just getting them all cooked up in all that lead. But just this microscopic army from Hellsgate in terms of the unit size backs a very big punch. It's literally a swarm right now for the Zerg army. And we do see the Hive Sec coming on now. So what will we get here from Hellsgate? He's already expecting some airplay with some Spore Crawlers on his main bases. He's gonna go for the Spire and maybe go for the Mutalisks. But I feel like he's getting this Hive for the attack speed buff to the Zerglings. Now the Spire into play. And we don't have any of the Mutalisk in production yet. On the other hand, we are gonna get +2 to attack and armor for the melee units. In the meantime, look at this, +3 already coming out for Mausami in attack and +2 on armor. So really a very infantry focused army here for the Terran. Loading barracks. Looking 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 4 barracks, 5, and this will be pretty heavy supply bulk right now. So Mausami has to go for the attack so he can keep the production tab going. Oh, huge bailing bust there, just eating up those Marines. But Hellsgate still not out of the woods yet. The Zerglings just going for some skirmishes in the backline. The Overlord's trying to get away. He got the Overlord speed to allow them to get away from Liberators and Vikings. Pretty smart stuff. There's a small investment to keep your supply up and going. Okay, now close to that 200 mark in terms of Overlord. But the Queens have to back on out. They even get rid of the creep tumors. No creep in the middle line will make it a harder time for these Queens to actually do anything to defend the 4th and the 5th. Now the Zerglings just chewing up a few of the Marines, but they're getting chewed up by the lead instead. The Medivacs just chilling for the meantime, because we do see an attack on Mausami's second base. This base has had so much damage onto it. It should have a lot of insurance now being covered by the Terran companies back in Korhal. But the Zerglings now lose some damage, Bane exploding there. In the meantime, back into the fight, the expansion being blown up, and finally Hellsgate, no! He decides he's just gonna go for it. This is gonna be a pretty quick base race between these two. But the Orbital Command can lift off. And this might be a time where Mausami should decide to maybe put the command center here and just go for the PF. Or maybe just some bunkers to allow himself to have some free reign in mining up the second base. But we do have another standstill between these two players. The attacking army from Mausami taken out. Corruptor is now here to try and counter all the airplay. The Liberator just chilling, not minding all the acid behind him, and will fall to the ground. The hatcheries though, not really being used here. So this time, Hellsgate is out of minerals and he has 1,000,000 gas. 2,600 right there. Too much to work with, to be honest. We do see the transfers, but interesting to note, he's not transferring to the RMF bases. He's transferring to his closer bases to allow him to defend this a little easier due to the fact that creep tumors have been damaged in these fights. But for now, I'm really interested in what he's gonna do with this Spire besides the Corruptors. He only got 4. So is it worth it to build a Spire just for 4 Corruptors? I don't think so. He has a lot of Zerglings here, 44 now, and just trying to build them up. But this is still a economically favorable matchup for the Zerg because he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases ready to go. Just mining up some minerals right now, and he wants to even out that gas with that mineral line to maybe get a better army. I don't see much though in production, and we just have our standard drop play here from Mausami. Hellsgate having a lot of Zerglings in play, can't just go for the all command. The Queens now doing some damage onto the drop play, but look at this, the drones are just dying left and right. Even the eggs taking some damage there, but good micro from Mausami to change the target. Here comes the Zerglings now, just gonna nibble on these poor humans, and they're all gonna get taken down. On the other hand, Hellsgate has another idea. He wants to go for the attack, but Mausami already ahead in terms of supply, so that really goes to show how much Mausami is investing in this army, because he doesn't have too many SCVs. He only has 40 compared to the 52. So if Mausami went in for an all-in right now, he could be able to do a substantial amount of damage. He just needs to find a way to defend his base. He has put a bunker down, but I don't think a bunker is enough, especially if there's no one inside. Marauders are into play as well, and here comes the Nibblers just running on in, wanting to defend the Richmond field bases. But this is going to be really dangerous now for Hellsgate to even engage on. He has to micro these Zerglings to just pop the Widow Mines, because they're all together right now. If he runs these by, this is going to be very terrible here. No! He's going to go for it, and the Widow Mines now blowing the Zerglings up as they go on in. The Corruptors just flying off into the distance, and the rest of the Zerglings now going to go to the third base. But another Widow Mine there doing some damage. The SCVs being able to try and repair the bunker and do some damage there to the Zerglings as well. So some two skirmishes happening at the same time into this fight. This base is all but ignored by Mausami and Hellsgate. Mausami winning out that fight, and this is the perfect opportunity for Mausami to strike. Yes, he does. The Marines gonna go blow that up. The Widow Mines all destroyed by one pair of Banelings, and another set just dying again and again. Both of these guys just tossing these units into the wind, literally just throwing them into the furnace here. And Mausami knows this is the time to strike because he has the advantage. Oh no, the Banelings are caught on that as they're morphing. He has to cancel this really quickly. No Zerglings refunded right now. And this is going to be a back off from Hellsgate. That's such a big mistake there from Hellsgate. Just committing with this Zergling army, not really changing up anything. And now he has to transfer away. He had so much time to decide to change up his tech, but he's still with the Zergling Baneling. Not even going. Finally! There you go. The Ultralisk Cavern is going to be into play, but he doesn't have the minerals for it. I don't understand what the Spire was for. If he's only going to build Corruptors and just like a handful of them in the first place. Now the Zerglings and the Banelings ready to strike again. These has to be really big Baneling bust here if he wants to do some damage, but Marauders are into play, and Hellsgate has to micro for his life. A few Zerglings just running into them, and there's some Marines cooking them up. The Liberators trying to get into position and have made circles of doom right now. Oh, one of the Libs actually fall, but the Marines just doing some work against the Corruptors. And really, look at this. All the SCVs are just, the drones rather, are just stuck there. Now we have an engagement. The Zerglings and Bane is going to go for the roll-on in. A lot of damage being done to both sides, but Mausami still ending up the victor in that skirmish. Now some Broodlords, the Broodlings rather, coming on out, and that was interesting. He might go for some, is he gonna go for some Broodlords? That is the real question. Not much in terms of army, and we will get some Ultralisk upgrades as soon as possible. No, that is +3 to armor, so making these Zerglings as tanky as possible as well. If he goes for the Ultras upgrades now and he just surprises Mausami with a burst of Ultralisk coming on out, that might be something very scary for him to deal with. And yeah, we do see 2 Ultralisks being built, but they're on such a weird angle. He could have built it here by the Exines, but now we do see the second base falling, and that was the Hive, so no more tech here for Hellsgate. Mausami spots out the Ultra Cavern, gets rid of the Spore Crawler first to keep the Medivac safe, and now he wants to go for the tech. It's going to be very hard for Hellsgate to get back into. If the Ultralisk Cavern does die, we do see another base being hampered by the Liberator, Commander Liberator into play. Now the Evo Chamber has fallen, and Mausami notices that the Marines are just looking at the Ultralisk Cavern, and there you go! No more Elephants into play. The Liberator just doing some damage, but will get taken down. Things look extremely dire here for Hellsgate. A hero Ultralisk now into play, getting 5-6 kills. He wants to just go at it with a rampage. The Jungle Book is here, says the Zerglings, but look at this. The Medivacs just healing up the Marines. Could go for some lone play. No, he's just gonna ignore it instead. Unfortunately, both players not really microing as optimal as possible, but still, Mausami in a heavy lead after just really investing so much in the army, and Hellsgate just stuck in his ways with the Zergling Baneling. He could, if he wanted to go for something like that, he should have just invested heavily in that bus and just try and force out the first base to just fly away. But no, He's stuck way too long with his Zergling Baneling, just running around the map, not really doing too much, playing greedily, but at the same time, very, very gluttonously. He didn't actually spend the minerals wisely, didn't spend the gas wisely. He's floating on 3,392 gas. And now Mausami knows he has the advantage, but wants to play it a little safer. He blows up the rocks already to keep the Zerglings from running on in, and at the same time, he's gonna try and produce behind this. He does have a lot of minerals, but not too much gas. He doesn't have too much map control as well, because Hellsgate can still capitalize on an opening here with the Zergling Ultralisk tree quadricept. For now, another hatchery being built. I'm interested why Hellsgate's still committing on to this second base. I guess he might want to go for the gas. But wait, how much gas does he have again, guys? No, yeah, he has 3,400 gas. He does have a good set of upgrades for those Zerglings, so they're really maximized in terms of the damage potential, in terms of their capacity to fight as well. And really, in any fight where Mausami and Hellsgate are just AFKing the Zerglings versus Marines, the Zerglings will win more like 60 to 70% of the time. But now we do see the micro, and the stim pack is gonna be used up. If Mausami just goes for the stutter steps, he's gonna win out in those micro clashes. One Marine just chilling in the meantime, just waiting on it, and spots out the drone. This Marine is gonna be so pesky right now. Mausami playing this really cheekily, and all the Zerglings are like, oh, finally we can get a quick little buffet here, a little snack appetizer kind of thing. But Mausami still having another Marine. These guys just absolute heroes right now, playing very suicidal, and the Queen just doing some damage. The Marine actually very tanky against the Queen. That's interesting. I didn't notice that. Those are like two damage per tick, and if left alone, the Queen might have died to that one Marine. But for now, Mausami has blown up one of the rocks, knows that it's his time to shine. He can just go with this Liberator, Medivac, Marine Marauder, Widowmine army, and just blow up the bunched up Zergling Baneling composition here from Hellsgate. Hellsgate really needs to wake up in micro here, because if he just lets the Zerglings run past the Widowmines, they're all gonna die because he's just been munching them up in the first place. If he actually just lures out the Widowmine blast with one of the Zerglings, it's an easy clap for him to just surround the Marine Marauders, since the Medivacs can't really do much besides the healing. But anyway, the Ultralisks now are gonna be the center of attention here between these two players. It really depends on how these Ultras can actually do the damage. The Zerglings now, just going for the run by. Oh, the Widowmines don't get popped. The Queens are caught on out, and this is very dangerous right now. He can't use this for any economics, can't use this for the creep tumors as well. Wanting to just transfer it to the bottom left to get the spawn larva injects on time. But for now, Mausami taking advantage, putting up the Widowmine, the drone, oh, the drones are dying to the Marauders. Here comes the Zergling, but a really quick pop from the 4 Marauders and the 1 Liberator to take down those initiating Zerglings. The Widowmine still not popping, and finally though, just coming on by, boom, goes the Dynamite, and the Widowmines do get the big chunk of the Zergling Baiting Bus. The Ultras though doing a lot of damage, and there's a pretty heavy surround here from Hellsgate. Still winning out in that fight, but Mausami still ahead in terms of army supply. Let's look at what they have. It's 32 drones, 30 SCV. So just let's minus that real quick. It's around 37 army supply here for Hellsgate to around 59 for Mausami, but he's gonna lose these Marines for free, and it's come to a point that every Marine counts, every Marauder counts, because both of these players are so low in terms of minerals and just have so much gas. Maybe if I were Mausami, I'd probably try and decide to go for some Ravens. Instead, just transfer out the starport to the tech lab and use the anti-armor missiles against those Ultralisks too. It's full capacity. All the turrets aren't too bad as well. So, you know, can do a bunch of damage to the opposite army with a fraction of the cost that he's actually committing on still keeping on with the Marine Marauder. But now the OP Mule's doing work. Look at that. How many minerals these guys are doing. Hellsgate's still ahead, but each gather of the mule ups the mineral count by what, around 200. So solid stuff. But we have another engagement here between the two. Another surround from Hellsgate onto Mausami's Marine Marauders bunch, and the Breakfast Club there just getting taken out. Liberator though, 47 kills. What is this? Why is this Liberator just being left alone? No real contest from Hellsgate, even with the queens. This guy deserves all the commendations in the world. The Medivacs have no people inside and they're just gonna fly on away. And Hellsgate is gonna decide to finally attack again. We do have one bunker here for Mausami, but it's not even being repaired. Just so many small mistakes here for both players who will actually come up ahead. Because for now, with these elongated standstills, Hellsgate can get back into it. Because he has one of the rich mineral fields, it's gonna die. Oh, this base just being beaten up by the Liberator again. 52 kills in a dream. Finally, the bunker being repaired. Step back can be popped, but the SCP repairing it will die. And here comes the SCPs now being pulled as all the Marines do die. The PF isn't up yet. And here comes the Marine Marauders just flying on in the Liberator, the second Liberator rather, ready to go for service. And Hellsgate has to back on out. With all these resources abundant in the field, both players look like they're just starving in terms of economy, which is very, very surprising that they're just staying on such a low mineral count. But now Mausami looking like he has been maximizing his bases to as much as possible. On the other hand, Hellsgate just diversifying his portfolio, but looks like all of them won't have good dividends in this one. One of the hatcheries already dies on the bottom left. On the other hand, the Zerglings getting rid of a few SCPs on the top center here for Mausami, but it's a base that doesn't have too many SCVs in the first place, so not too much damage done by Hellsgate. He really needs to commit onto this one, and Mausami on the other hand has to build the planetary fortress as fast as possible to protect this, because this command center is doing absolutely nothing right now. It has to decide if it wants to be a damage unit or something for economy. Now the Zerglings just getting rid of the rest of the SCVs here. We will see a liftoff. These Zerglings will die after their function has been made. Oh, can't even go in. Yes, he can! Oh, Hellsgate! Even Hellsgate was surprised about that he could just go on in. The supply depot is ineffective, but the Marines do come on out. That was a little cheeky there from Hellsgate, but Mausami heavily in the lead with these Liberators in, so just 3 Liberators doing so much damage. 68 kills on this Liberator. This guy has paid for himself and 10 times that. On the other hand, Hellsgate's gonna go for a retreat and try to condense his drones as much as possible. Maybe just go here. It'll be a sick transfer now, getting 13 drones into that, but still, this is gonna be very, very hard for Hellsgate to actually come back to, because these queens need to be protected to try and take out the Liberators. On the other hand, this is a very, very scary army here for Mausami. Let's look at that now. What Mausami is seeing. He knows where the bases are. He knows he's gotten all the external bases besides the hatcheries that don't have too much minerals. Now the spine crawlers just gonna die off creep. Unfortunate there. One of them do stay alive, but the scans do come on out, and Hellsgate gonna rotate to the bottom left to not show Mausami his hand yet. So the spine crawler, very, very heroic, but it's gonna be pretty stupid for the spine crawler to stay on in, because here comes the initiating attack from Mausami. Oh, is he gonna lose a Marine? No! The spine crawler dies before he can even get a poke onto one of them. The Liberators now into position. The Widow Mines are there as well. This is a complete late here from Mausami to Hellsgate. He's just goading him to go on in. The Ultra is out in front. Here comes the Spore Crawler right now, trying to get in position, but this might be the first thing to fall if the Marines and the Marauders just focus fire onto it. Pre-Trooper now being blown up as well, and this is the opportunity to blow up the Spore Crawler. Yes, it's gonna die. The Marines poking at the drones as well. Another transfer here, and this is gonna be Hellsgate on his last limbs, because he's not getting any kind of income right now. Look at it. 83, 55, no, 0. Absolutely nothing going the way of Hellsgate, because the drones are just chilling on the bottom left. He is doing some damage with the Zerglings inside the main base of Mausami, but that's not gonna be doing too much besides getting these Marines to play hot potato. This is gonna be all. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be Hellsgate's last lifeline. The Ultralist, though, going inside, does get a few kills. The Queens get taken out, and really, Mausami having the perfect position right now, forcing Hellsgate to just chill out with those drones. This hatchery will fall, and this has to be the time for Hellsgate to attack, because if he doesn't attack now, the army of Mausami can congregate. The Broodlings doing some damage. Really, what is Hellsgate doing? What is he deciding to do? He's just so busy. Try to micro maybe the Ultralist, maybe no. He's microing the Overlords. And finally, here comes the attack from Hellsgate, getting a pretty sick bust. But no, the Zerglings getting away. No, the Banelings trying to do some damage. No, it's not enough. Mausami We'll take it. Mausami will take it. Kudos to Mausami there. Just starving Hellsgate. That last fight. The last fight was something. It was Hellsgate trying his best with the Banelings, with the Zerglings, but no, the Marines and the Marauders just decided to walk on out. Some of the brave infantry there just tanking it up, but it's too late. And Osami taking it a few big mistakes there from both players, especially this one. Mausami wouldn't have been put in this situation if he just defended the second base a lot better and walled it in. On the other hand, Hellsgate really had so much in the bag. He had the game wrapped around, ready for delivery. But no, he just stayed with the Zergling Baidling, not even transitioning to Mutalisk, not really transitioning to the Ultralisk early enough, just had so many unnecessary buildings in the first place. So really, it just goes to show that if you're gonna try to tech up, do it for a reason. Don't do it just to make your base look pretty. Do it for just upgrade for the fact that you want to upgrade your units and counter out your enemy. But players having so much gas as well, which is quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. So kudos to Masami for winning it, and thank you for sending this replay in. It was a lot of fun to be able to cast Starcraft again. Hopefully, be able to do so pretty regularly into the coming weeks. We'll see you guys in the next one.